We've got approximately 36 minutes before the 3 school-aged kids get home from school. And we just decided today was the day we were going to record. I mean, that is how we're doing it right now. It's very much when and where and how can we get everything done and show up in all the ways we need to show up, on a daily basis. Every day kind of feels like a marathon.
The great Mark Cuban once said, "Business happens over years and years. Value is measured in the total upside of a business relationship, not by how much you squeezed out in any one deal." And we couldn't agree more. This is the Business Development Podcast, based in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, and broadcasting to the world. You'll get expert business development advice, tips and experiences, and you'll hear interviews with business owners, CEOs, and business development reps. You'll get actionable advice on how to grow business. Brought to you by Capital Business Development, capitalbd.ca. Let's do it. Welcome to the Business Development Podcast. And now your expert host, Kelly Kennedy.
Hello, welcome to Milestone episode 300 of the Business Development Podcast. I am here today with my beautiful partner in life, crime, and everything else, Shelby Hobbs, for our centennial episode, which we do like pretty much every year. I think we've done centennial episodes since the start of this show. I've had lots of people reach out and be like, well, hey, why don't I get episode 300? And I keep telling them, well, you see, episode 300 is always reserved for Shelby. 400 will be Shelby. 500 will be Shelby. So we don't get a lot of episodes together, do we, babe? This is really the one that we just reserve to have a conversation, bring the listeners into our world a little bit, show them behind the scenes that is the wildness of the Business Development Podcast house. And I look forward to this every single time. So welcome, babe. For the listeners who maybe haven't met you yet, why don't you briefly introduce yourself?
Thank you. Yeah, I look forward to this episode every year too, or this is our third year. And I guess I have to start with an apology to Jake Gold fans everywhere because apparently this should have been his episode. But no, hopefully I can contribute something fun here today. So yeah, I'm, of course, as you said, your partner in crime and life and all of the things. And yeah, we sat down before we hit record here. We're literally recording in the in-between moments of our life, which is where we have to get a lot of stuff done. We've got a baby sleeping to my left here, Fox, who's 4 months old. We've got Jet, who's 2 years old now, which is crazy. He's asleep, 1 floor above our heads, napping. We've got approximately 36 minutes before the 3 school-aged kids get home from school. And we just decided today was the day we were going to record. I mean, that is how we're doing it right now. It's very much when and where and how can we get everything done and show up in all the ways we need to show up, on a daily basis. Every day kind of feels like a marathon at this stage of life for us, I think.
Yeah. You left out the puppy.
Oh yeah, the puppy. Well, yeah. You see, some people are addicted to, gambling, drugs, whatever. Ours is responsibility. We're addicted to responsibility. That's what I like to say. Because we didn't have a puppy, so we had to fill that void.
That's not true. We, and let's talk about it. We lost a dog this year. Hunter Senior, old Hunter, as we used to call him. Honestly, a really great dog. Shelby had him for, was it 17 years, babe?
16
years. So we had a tough loss. We had a tough loss this year in 2025. And actually, we're a year now into our new home in Stony Plain, and we absolutely love it. But we had a loss before we came here, too. One of our other dogs, Evie, she couldn't make this trip. She dealt with a lot of anxiety problems. She really didn't like other people, other dogs. And we would have been required basically to build a 6-foot fence. And yet I built one at the old house and she went over that. The move to the new house wasn't going to happen. And she was getting a little bit sick as well. So we had to unfortunately put her down before we moved. And so 2025, on the animal front was a couple of pretty big losses, I think. So, there is room for this new puppy and she's quite sweet. Her name is Nell.
Nell, Smelly Nelly, as I like to call her.
And she is smelly.
Well, and I think everyone has a story for how their fur baby, not a term I love, but we'll use it in this context. Everyone has a story for how their puppy came into their lives or their dog, right? And so far Nell's story, it's a bit of a sad story. She was abandoned. She really was that puppy in need. Her life was very much in danger and in peril. And so Nell's story is we had the privilege of rescuing her and welcoming her into our family. It happened very quickly. But it's true, when space is just like the shelves, behind me. Today I did a big clearing just to try to let everything breathe a little bit. But the funny thing about space is you tend to fill it, right?
Yep.
So, we had our fifth baby this year. I feel like heading into 2026, what I'm really meditating on and thinking a lot about is just expansion. And how do we build more capacity, and where can we create space, I guess, but also just widening our aperture as much as possible, because we've got a lot to love, so much to be grateful for, and it just seems like it's requiring us to be more expansive than we've ever been.
Yeah. And I wouldn't mind maybe talking about like gratefulness. It was my 37th birthday a couple of weeks ago, and I found myself up early in the morning to put out Smelly Nelly and sitting on that couch. And for the first time in a long time, simply being thankful for where I was. Like December has been pretty good. I really can't complain. We took on a new retainer contract. We have some stuff in the works. I don't want to get too far into it till I get some signed contracts, but it's looking really good for the business development podcast here heading into, year three of the show.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited about it. And I just found myself, sitting in our beautiful home, looking out the window at 5:30 in the morning, just being like, wow, like I'm really thankful for where I am here in the moment. And that's something, babe, that I just really struggle with. I'm rarely in the moment. And you know that about me. I'm always moving forward. I'm always thinking about what's next. I'm usually stressed out about something or other. This is part of my life, part of who I am. But sitting in a moment and just kind of realizing that I'm actually pretty happy with where I am right now, few and far between. And it was honestly just an interesting moment.
Yeah, I distinctly remember waking up that morning and being met with such a warm, present Kelly. And that was a really beautiful thing. I think one of the things I'm often trying to do in our family, one of the roles that I tend to play is kind of that anchor at times. I think I try to find a way to be a bit of a grounding place for our boys and for you and for all of us to kind of say, like, how are we doing? Like, put our finger on the moment and just touch God, touch down, touch earth, touch grass, as they say, and check in. Like, how's your heart? How are we doing? How is parenting going?
Yeah.
Like, are we being present with the kids as much as we'd like to be? And I think, that is I wouldn't call it the shadow side, I guess, but it's the tension of that gratitude, which is when you have so much to be thankful for, you have so much to lose. There's so much to hold and so much gratitude to be cultivated. And yet it makes you so aware of the possible heartbreak of loss that at any moment can be around the corner from us. And that's not to sound morose or melancholy. It's just to acknowledge that, we do have a very full and beautiful life. And the scary part about that for a mom or a dad or, someone with a lot to kind of hold together is just, yeah, you've got a lot. And life can be unpredictable. So I think it's really important to be able to find those moments to really feel the gratitude and really feel the magnitude of what you're building.
Yeah, I think I find myself regularly not realizing how much we've built.
Yeah.
And I know I'm sure some of the listeners can get on board with that because ultimately I think they see that I'm pretty constantly forward thinking. What's next? Are we moving the needle, as a term that I like to use a lot? But at the same time, yeah, it is really interesting because I did find myself that same morning looking back and just being blown away because, my birthday also happens to be the birthday for Capital Business Development every year. And so this year we celebrated 5 years. And if I look back at everything we've done over the past 5 years, I would have never believed that I was capable of doing all of that in such a short period of time. And yet at the same time, I think I regularly get disappointed with what I do in a year. But in 5, I'm always blown away by what we've been able to do. So it's like, it's a weird my mouth isn't working. Mismatch. It's a weird mismatch of expectations that I think I struggle with all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. You recently mentioned something about, I'm always trying to nail down like motivation. Like how? I think
Yeah.
there's some part of you that is in awe of what you've been able to do and just the resilience with which you've been able to do it. And I think that's the beautiful kind of mystery. That's the fun part of life is, we want to be able to nail these things down. We want to like crack the nut on motivation and figure out,
Yeah.
what's the formula. And I don't have the answer. I have no idea what it is, but I know I tried
Yeah.
to turn the question on you a little bit and say, well, maybe it's it's inspiration. I'm a words person, as you know. I really, enjoy language and the nuance of language. And so with a word like motivation, sometimes I feel a clenching in me, like a resistance, like, yuck, motivation. Like, no,
Yeah.
who wants that, right?
Yeah.
But
Nobody likes to be motivated.
right, right. Well, because it feels like threatening somehow. Like it's the kind of motivation that makes you pay your mortgage where like the bank is going to come and take your house if you don't. Like it just feels like the wrong angle for me somehow. But
Yeah.
being inspired has a different energy to it. And it feels sometimes more like the right, I don't know, there's something about it that just feels better in my body, which kind of leads me to something I did want to ask you today, which was like, who or what is inspiring Kelly Kennedy these days?
Yeah. That's a good question. I think honestly, I just want to keep going. Like, I think I'm just so driven to keep going, keep building. I know I'm on the right path. I think maybe that's the best way of saying it. I whether you call it divine inspiration or whatever you want to call it, I think more than ever that the path I'm on is the right path for me. Like there is no other path at this point in my life than the one I'm on. And so I just want to keep growing community. I just want to keep growing the show. I want to start a new show. We can talk about that in a little bit here and how we kind of came to that. I would love to maybe chat with you because it came from a car discussion with you. But, we got that coming up. I want to keep performing. I want to keep, refining my business development process, becoming a better coach, becoming a better service provider. Like I think I'm just constantly driven to become a better version of myself in every way possible because I realize that if I get better, I can bring everybody else with me.
So you're inspired by the future self. You're
I
inspired by
think
your
so.
future self and
Well,
who.
and if we want to go to Catalyst Club and if we want to, we are going to talk about, 2025. I think that's an important conversation here. I'd love to learn maybe with you, what were some of the highlights for you? I think I have some ideas, but I'd love to hear your highlights for 2025. And then I'd like to get onto some of mine. But obviously, Catalyst Club is one of those things that for me is exceeded expectations in every way, shape, and form. And your future self comes up a lot in Catalyst Club, which you also
Mhm.
know.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, yeah, lesser. I always wanna say lessay.
I know, I know. I feel bad because I used to call him Lassay, and he's like, I love the way you're saying that, but it's Lesser. Okay.
Lesser. Lesser the other day in an Instagram video was wearing this, like, amazing wool Nordic jumper sweater. It's just like I like his style. I like his style.
Yeah,
I love what he's doing. He, facilitated the future self experience, I suppose you would call it.
yeah,
And yeah, so I think a lot of us came away from that experience and have probably had some, that residual effect of continuing to play with the visualization of our future selves and
yeah,
whatever messages or signals, sensations that came to us during the experience that he facilitated in the Catalyst Club. And I am so excited to continue. Just the club seems to hold so much promise for community and for just serving as this really awesome container for all of us to be laboring the next version of ourselves together. And I
yeah.
think that's going to be a huge part of what 2026 is all about for a lot of us.
And, if we want to talk about predictions for the future, building a community wasn't
Mhm,
part of my 2025 plans. Like it was
mhm,
not. I never once wrote it down in my goals list. And
mhm,
yet that's exactly what ended up happening. And one of the things that I'm a firm believer of is you can't see the future coming. The best opportunities are going to show up on your door and simply ask you if you're ready for them or not. And the Catalyst Club was really one of those things, right? Like if we go back to
mhm,
2025, the beginning, I think I knew that my coaching was going to become a big part of 2025. Obviously, I'd had a lot of success with my
mhm,
initial one-to-one programs in 2024. So I thought, okay, this is working. This is probably going to carry forward and expand upon in 2025, which it did. Accelerators started. I'm running my fourth accelerator here in January, so I'm very excited about that. But
mhm,
the accelerator really showed me that there's an opportunity here for a larger group program or a larger group dynamic to feed into each other. And it really came from I was sitting in accelerator classes and watching my students make connections right there, send business each other's way from Canada to United States and back and forth, and the US students connecting and just being like, holy crap, like this is awesome. How do we do
mhm,
this on a bigger scale? To which
mhm.
case Catalyst Club was born and it continues to do that and exceed my expectations week over week. But I had no plans in the start of 2025 to build the Catalyst Club community. It more so, just like this podcast, kind of knocked on my door and said, you want to try something cool?
Yeah, these offerings do seem to tap right into a lot of your genius though, and really your unique offering to the world, because I think anyone who knows you and knows you even a little bit well can see how much of a connector you are. And so, I want to give really props to you, because I think as much as it was the group coaching and it's the dynamics and everyone's bringing their own unique flavor to everything that's happening, I also think that you have a way of establishing a culture with your people of really, what's the word I'm looking for? Like genuine collaboration, celebration. There's no like icky competition.
No.
It's been one of the most amazing things that I've witnessed in the Catalyst Club and in these different kinds of community events that you've been a part of. I think it's been surprising for me in a way that's been really nourishing for me, especially because I think I held maybe some preconceived beliefs, fears, insecurities myself about how I might be received in certain spaces or what I might expect to hear, see, feel. So I maybe initially had some, or I did initially have my own reservations personally about contributing, participating in the Catalyst Club. And I had to push myself a little bit outside of my comfort zone as part of a desire to support you. And in doing so, have been just pleasantly surprised and shocked by the way that people show up in that space. And I think a lot of that is largely to your credit because you embody these values so well, so deeply, and so authentically that that when people come into your orbit, they start to reflect a lot of these qualities back to each other and back to you.
Yeah, thank you. I don't think that I take all the credit for that. I see the people show up there authentically every single week. And, I think on a certain level, we attract those kind of people because that
Mhm.
is the type of people I think who ultimately join Catalyst Club that are looking for that community, that support. And they
Mhm.
want to come to it from a place of authenticity and just essentially get to be their real selves.
Mhm.
People first, business second. That is kind of my motto, and I really believe that. I don't see the world where people's egos are really up there. Those people aren't going to make it. You need community. I think the thing that surprised me
Mhm.
the most as becoming a business owner is how little is actually you. Like, yes, you have to execute your products and services, but if I look at the best opportunities that ever came through my door, I didn't find them. Other people found them and said, "Hey, I know this really great guy, Kelly, you need to meet," right? It
Mhm.
never fails. It's almost
Mhm.
never me. It's almost always the people you surround yourself with. And I think the faster that people realize that and start to surround themselves by great community, the better you do, not just in business, but in life.
Absolutely. I agree. I agree. I think one of the ways I have to sort of personally challenge myself heading into 2026 is to try and be more, not try, but it's to be more intentional about finding my people. It's like I know where they are. I know who they are. I've seen them, I've come across them, I've felt them, but I think I've been playing small. I think I've been, not reaching out and building community as much as I could be. And grace to me because I've been building a family. I've been, working on things. It's not like not like there's nothing going on over here. But, I think that's an area where I feel some spaciousness. I feel some I loosening up in me that I'm like, that's something I'm desiring more for. And, maybe with the Catalyst Club too, part of what I've been blown away by what men have been willing to share and how the
Yeah.
men in the space are showing up, which again just tends to challenge a lot of, some of the ways I've maybe seen men behave in work environments, for example, like other
Yeah.
professionals I've worked with. And then I come to the Catalyst Club and I'm like, this is so different from how I've seen people in general, but like men as well conduct themselves. It doesn't feel like a place where people are pining for power. There's no hierarchy. We're not competing for anything. So it
Yeah.
really is community. That is really what's happening there.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like I said, I just feel like I built the room and the right people keep showing up. I'm blown away by what happens there. I'm blown away by the support.
Mhm.
The other side to it, I think ultimately does have to be though, if you are going to be part of community, you do have to leave your ego at the door. You do
Mhm.
have to show up just as a person, like everybody else in that room, no matter where you come
Mhm.
from. And I think maybe the cool thing about Catalyst Club is that we have everybody from, CEOs of $150 million companies right down to brand new founders or just business professionals of some type or another. And
Mhm.
they all show up, they all connect, they all share authentically, and they all get support. It's truly just leaders supporting leaders. And, this show wasn't particularly about just pumping Catalyst Club, although it's something I'm very proud of.
Mhm.
It's not really about that. But I think if I do have to reflect back on 2025 and the thing I am incredibly proud of, it is what we're building in Catalyst Club. Because I think a year from now, oh my gosh, it's just going to be unbelievable.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, I agree for sure. Interesting. Yeah, I think there is just a nice mix of ages, backgrounds, passions, interests. But the common thread, I guess, seems to be Kelly Kennedy, whether, the podcast, whether business development as a foundational interest, I guess you could say. And yeah, so super excited to see in 2026 how other people too are building community. Like there's going to be so much
Oh,
that's going to
yeah.
come up. There's going to be brilliant, amazing leaders doing this kind of thing. And so I think for all of us, we're going to have new and amazing kinds of ways and opportunities to connect with each other, which is so important. I think that connection was largely, missing since COVID kind of struck and the world rearranged it. It disordered and it's starting to reorganize itself in this new way. And so we're going to start to, have new available ways of engaging with one another. I think professionally, personally, across the board. And so I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, and I think maybe like an important thing for everybody to remember here, if you are looking for community, it doesn't have to be in person. And I think maybe that might be surprising for a lot of people to hear. They might think, well, I've got to join my chamber or I got to join the local BNI or business group. And it's like, no, everything we're doing on Catalyst Club is at this time 100% virtual and
Mhm.
it's still happening. The connections are
Yeah.
still happening. The community is still happening. The support is still happening, all done through a virtual means. And I think the cool thing about virtual means is we literally have members from around the world with different perspectives that can help one another out. So I think, if you are looking at community, don't narrow your box to, I have to do this in person. It has to be in my local town. I have to join the local chamber, BNI, or, you name it, EO. You don't. There are going to be virtual communities like Catalyst Club popping up likely all over the place. I think what's more important is find one that aligns with your values.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's we are entering a new era as well where a lot of the older folks of our generation, like our grandparents and they're starting to engage with technology a lot more. And so it's been amazing to see, have a kind of an elderly wisdom starting to permeate some of the tech spaces a little bit more. And personally, I love that. I think that's been an area for me that's felt like it's been missing a little bit is like, where's the elder wisdom? I don't think in our culture we've done a great job of cultivating spaces that honor elders or ways of benefiting from the wisdom that they have to offer. So I
Yeah.
love when you see people, folks in their 70s, 80s, even 90s, like my grandmother, my dad's mom just turned 90 and she can send me a message on Facebook and tell me that she loves me. Like
Wow.
that's incredible. And
Yeah.
so we're it's the dawning of a bit of a new era where technology seems to have really nuzzled its way into a place of significance and importance across generations. And so that's been a lot of fun. One recent example of that too was our oldest son, Adler, recently turned 12. So November 29th, he turned 12. And heading into that birthday, it just felt like I sensed that we were heading into, a change for Adler. And it's that hormonal development. Is really, I feel like, where your child starts to work on individuating from you and like separating from the family a little bit and like finding himself and finding his way. It's like the year of when the wayfinding journey begins. And So I really wanted, and you and I had talked about this, like I wanted to give him some kind of rite of passage or like initiation into this new era of like graduating into puberty. And he's our oldest child. So he's always going to be the first. He's always going to be crossing these thresholds first.
Oh, and
And
he knows how to prepare us, doesn't he?
oh, yeah, he's doing a great job initiating us. Like
Oh.
we think we're initiating him, but he's initiating us all the time. We're like,
Oh my
oh
gosh.
my God.
I
Like
just pray
sometimes
to God the other ones are a little bit easier.
I know so many times, like throughout the week lately, we just like, he'll say something and we just look at each other like, are you for real? Like, did you hear that? Listen to that sass. Like, it's just next level.
Yes.
So it's beginning, right? It's beginning. It's not,
Mhm.
he's a great kid. He's a good kid. I think all kids are good, but it's like, this is the process of putting up those boundaries and individuating. And I always want to be that safe and soft place for him to land. So we just got to get through these years, right? But, part of that was asking, very humbly and kind of nervously, the men in Adler's circle of support and our circle of support to, give Adler some words of wisdom and or encouragement for this 12th birthday. And I guess the segue here and why I brought this up is because I would not have been able to pull together all of that wisdom for him without the benefit of technology. I mean, I think we're going to have to work with what we've got. And it meant that some of the men in our life could send me an email. Some could take a picture of the thing they wrote down and send it to me as a picture. Some hand delivered me an envelope. But the point is like we're going to be finding new inventive ways of pulling back into our lives what I think has been lost and sort of fractured over the last few generations. So I was really proud. I mean, ultimately, we were able to do something for Adler. He's got all these words from the men that care about him and love him, including yourself. He's got a keepsake box full of them. It was really touching for him. And, ultimately, I think it's just one small example of how we're going to be coming up with new ways of initiating ourselves and our children into community wisdom. How far out are we from kids finding a way to kids are using platforms right now like YouTube and Fortnite and Roblox to find community with each other. But how many years do you think we are away from children being able to gather in more intentional, safe ways? I think there's probably a gap there as well. So I think us adults, our generation, we've got to kind of lead the way on what this is going to look like in a new
Yeah.
era of human beings.
Well, and let's speak to that a little bit, because I know once I launched Catalyst Club, I remember sitting down with you and you saying, you did this for business and leadership and business development people, but like, why does this exist for everything?
Right.
Like, I remember those words literally coming out of your mouth.
Yeah.
Why is there not a Catalyst Club community for literally everything?
Yeah.
Tennis, school, communities, you name it. It's like, I don't know, but I'm sure if you're having those ideas, I'm sure we can't be far out.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what I hope. That's really what I hope for. I hope that's the next frontier is, we'll be really niching out into groups for parenting. And maybe it's like parenting in your area and it's $15 a month or whatever it is, but you're in a safe container. You're building community, you're being authentic, you're being honest, but you're also getting to know who's in your area. Like, I don't know exactly how this is going to take shape, but I know that I'm super excited about the possibilities that I see with it. And I certainly think that, others are catching on, like it's catching fire.
Oh, yeah. I would say that, like, if I had to make one prediction, and I kind of have, I think that 2026 will go down as like the year everybody finds a community,
Like
right?
an
I don't care
online
where you
community.
are.
Yeah.
You're going to be, I bet you by the end of 2020, I bet you by the, I bet you by the end of 2026, if you're listening to this show, whether it's Catalyst Club or something else, you're going to be part of a community, I bet, of some type or another.
Yeah, absolutely. Bless her soul. Your mother-in-law is shoveling right outside the door here. She because she just shows up and my mother's love language, like gifts and acts of service
Service.
for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
So bless her. Bless the mamas. Cause like,
Yeah.
yeah, and also for a second, bless the mamas because it's the time of year, it's the end of year, it's the Christmas season, it's the holiday season. And I know in a lot of families, the mothers and the grandmothers, they are like spinning out on a daily basis, trying to come up with like meaningful presents for everybody and like planning meals and trying to make the plan for the housework. And I know this is all like so gendered, but it very much is the case. Like just name it. We've got to thank our mamas for, both of us did that this past
Mhm.
couple of weeks, like reached out to
Yeah.
our moms and just
Yeah.
like said, thank you. I commend you. You did a
Yeah.
great job. I think we're at reaching an age where we can appreciate so much of that effort and really see it and feel it because we're living it now.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it was so funny because I mean, I was out playing Santa this morning, handing out client gifts around town, and we were on the phone, and I was like, Shelb was like, Cal, like I'm like really tired, and I'm like, yeah, me too, like I totally get it. She's like, no, you don't. I was like, okay, fair enough. I don't get that level of tired. I am tired. I think it's a different way. It's like a different kind of tired for sure, but it's like I feel like even with like the boys sometimes, like it'll be like the weekend. Like I got short with Adler the other day. I was at the end of my rope. We had a bit of a yell out. I'm not proud of it, but it happened.
It
But it's
happened.
just like, my gosh, like I can hit a point where I'm just like, okay, I'm done with this week and I don't want any more problems. And sometimes that doesn't always jive with parenting. Parenting's
Mhm.
hard. Let's just talk about
Mhm.
like it is hard. It is hard to be a whoa, what the heck?
Is your phone talking to you?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, my phone just randomly started talking to me. It like Google Gemini. It was like, "Oh, life is hard." Yeah, thanks Gemini.
Meanwhile,
Okay.
AI is like, just trying
Meanwhile,
to find my community, man. Like,
terrifying robots
yeah,
out there in the world now.
yeah.
Yes, we have to worry about that.
Oh, yeah. We're not gonna know the moment that it becomes conscious, but it's listening all the time now. So it's just gonna
Yeah.
start joining our conversations, I think.
No, it
Uh,
just did. It just did join
j
our conversation.
exactly. Expect more of that in
Yeah.
2026 for sure.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Um,
Okay, let's talk about technology here quickly. Technology has been about the bane of my existence over the past little bit. Over the show, there's been like a couple major jumps. Like if there's one thing that I would always say I'm striving for on the show, it's to get a better show production, better audio quality, better video. I want to upgrade the show every chance I get. And so I tried to learn new technology. We started out the show producing on what was it? What did we use in the beginning?
Hindenburg?
To Hindenburg. Yeah, we had Hindenburg Journalist Pro, which was awesome. Honestly, for somebody who had almost zero audio, well, really zero audio editing, it really helped with like normalization and leveling in the beginning because I didn't really know what I was doing. But I found myself at about, episode 80, 90, somewhere in there, really starting to hit a roadblock with it. And so Shelb had said, well, I use these Adobe products. They're pretty great. They're the standard for pretty much everything. She's a former photographer, not even a former, you still do photography, but she's a professional photographer. That's the right word. And so you've used Adobe forever, and I hadn't. And
Yeah.
so I decided, okay, I'm going to try this Adobe Audition. And it was the right move for the show. Absolutely. It gave me a level of control for audio quality I never had before, but I was so upset. I remember looking at Shelb and just being like, I hate this. Like, I got to learn all of these new shortcuts all over again for this stupid new audio production program. I'm thankful I did now, but at the time I was very upset about it, feeling very defeated because technology was winning. But then later on this year, one of the highlights of 2025 for me was the Jim Harold interview. You were in there. You know that for me, he's like the king of podcasting. Like
Mhm.
I would say as a family, he's our favorite family show. We've been listening
Mhm.
to him for 5+ years. For me, probably getting closer to 8 or 9 years. and
Mhm.
had him on the show. It was exceptional. It was our Halloween special. Such a great episode. But after, man, he's just exceptional. He showed up and just had the best audio quality I'd ever heard. And it's like, guy's been podcasting for 20 years. So, of course, right? But he shows
Mhm.
up with this just like insane. And so I
Yeah.
reach out to him after. I'm like, Jim, how did you do this? And he tells me, Kelly, I'm using this Apollo twin setup. And if you get this thing, it allows you to use some stuff up front to really fix your audio and knock it down ahead of the recording. And he was talking about like soundproofing. So it's like we soundproofed the room. We ordered the fancy Apollo. Guess what, everyone? Turns out this fancy new interface does not play well with Windows.
Yeah.
And so I have literally a $2,000 audio interface that does not work with my computer. And so
Mhm.
what do you think I'm going to have to do now in 2026? Well,
Mhm.
it looks like I don't have much of a choice but to start to learn Mac OS. So
Mhm.
wait for
Mhm.
another big audio upgrade in 2026. You will notice a difference, but there will be a very stressed out technology challenges with Kelly.
I'm just trying not to glaze over while we talk tech here because
Yeah,
I
yeah.
do tend to like leave my body when Kelly starts talking tech. I'm just like fly away. You- it also feels like you're trying to start a fight with me right now because this is the most recent fight that we had was about tech and how I'm pointed out that there's this pattern in our relationship where Kelly will be like, yeah, babe, you got to get this tech. This is the best of the best. Go get this laptop and this phone and go with this phone company and get this computer. And then he almost immediately goes a totally different direction with his own tech. And then it almost immediately bites him in the butt. So we got into like probably one of the
Uh,
more hilarious, honestly, fights we've ever been in where you said I was mean. You called me mean.
you were being mean.
I was just like, honey, I think you just need to take your own advice. I think you give good advice. Just take it. And no, I know
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
well, and it's funny too because, for as much as we both love to learn and human beings love to learn in general, we don't like being forced into learning new things. Like we want to choose it.
Yeah.
We want to choose
Yeah.
the thing we're learning and when and why. And so when we get kind of nudged or shoved in a direction of having to build new skills out of necessity, there it can definitely be frustrating and taint
Yeah.
the learning experience a little bit.
Yes, but I know that we'll be having this conversation again in 2027. And I'll just be like, man, thank God I made that jump. Now I
Yeah,
know how to do everything and it's all good. And now we have this like next level setup. But
yeah,
in the moment, it's like, oh, it's like anything, right? And it's choose your hard. It's
yeah,
choose your hard, right, babe? And we were talking about this week. You're working on some stuff in the background. Obviously, you've had 5 home births. You're a total rock star when it comes down to birthing and being a mom and doing all that. And there's so many lessons in that. But, one of the things that kind of keeps coming up as a universal, I think, for both of us is that life is going to be hard. It's going to throw a lot of hard moments. The growth comes in the hard. So
mhm,
choose your hard because if you don't
mhm,
choose, life's going to choose for you and you probably won't like the outcome.
mhm. Yeah. Yeah, and it fills me with compassion, I think for everyone, just for everyone who's kind of going through those difficult times and or you're in a period of transition or an ending or a challenging beginning. I mean, I think that I yes, choose your hard, absolutely. And there is something about that expression that feels like the bootstrap, like gritty hustle culture that again, it's like I get a little resistant to that because I think I like to err on the side of softness and I want to be helping people in a way that feels good in their bodies, like that doesn't have
Yeah.
tension in it. And yeah, I mean, birth, like I've been, I think since forever, I've been someone who's been really fascinated with and inspired by and really kind of moved by birth and what it does for people. I mean, firstly, what it's done for me, what it's meant for me in my life. Like, not only did it result in, the human beings I love more than anything in the world, but it also has helped me to love myself more and see my own strength and see what I was capable of really facing head on with a lot of sort of soft power. And yeah, I think Odin, I'm sorry, I have a 9-year-old, a 10-year-old, recently 10-year-old boy just kind of orbiting my desk, trying trying to be like subtle, but not subtle at all. So, what? Hello, Odin. How can I help you?
I just wanted to ask a couple things.
Okay, sure. You're welcome.
Daddy.
Love you too.
It's like this is one of the beautiful things of parenting. You can only like fully ignore them for so long. Like, I've got some really good skill to just drown out or like fully dissociate from like what's happening around me. But there are limits. There has to
Right?
be
Yeah.
limits.
It's like they'll just stand there until you acknowledge them.
That's right. Like, he wasn't going anywhere. That much was clear. It's the war of the battle of attrition, right?
That's right. That's right. He knows if he hovers long enough, he will be addressed. Mind you, this is the same boy, though, who will come downstairs just to give me a hug, tell me he loves me.
Right.
And, like, he's
Right.
such a sweetheart of a kid, too.
Yes. So thoughtful. Great, really
Yeah.
high emotional intelligence. Yeah, and relational intelligence. That's the word. Really cares about how the other person is feeling. So
Totally.
yeah, I mean, just to try to circle back, I think that how we're sort of being transformed by what's happening in our lives and how we orient to that transformation, I think, is huge in terms of how we make out on the other side. So as we move into a period of time where things are going to be moving faster, changing faster than ever, like new tools, new tech, who even knows what's on the horizon with AI? But I do think that
I love you, Mom.
love you.
There's another one.
Yeah. The kids have arrived home from school.
Yes.
It happened.
Yes. We did warn you.
We did. We did. Yeah. It's about, I think it's about how we are, what's our posture, right? It's like the posture that we take with the change, with the churning, I think is going to be key in how we adapt and how we feel in our bodies while it's happening.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say that I head into things with almost like an unbridled optimism.
Mm-hmm.
But I think because I go into most things with an unbridled optimism and a belief that no matter what, it's going to turn out okay, even if okay means it doesn't go to plan. I think more things are successful. I don't think I'm necessarily lucky. I think ultimately I just have a mindset that makes it more likely that I'll win.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you have a deep connection to your faith. I think it's faith because it's believing and knowing and feeling that regardless, you're not going to be able to predict every outcome that's coming. And if you could, what fun would that be? Right?
Yeah,
That
yes.
wouldn't be fun.
No.
But it is knowing that whatever that outcome is, you're going to come out on the other end of it a better version of yourself, more loving, have more capacity, more skill, more whatever it is that you're working toward. I mean, I think that life always initiates us in the ways that we need it. Whether we would have chosen it or not. I think life and God and all of it, I think just life has a way of providing to us the exact initiation that we need to become the next version of ourselves that the next moment is going to call for.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's been a couple specific circumstances where I think it's been shown to me that there's definitely higher powers at work,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Let's talk about briefly the latest one. It was a couple months ago now, but basically I was heading into two of some of the biggest back-to-back interviews we've had on this show. I think it was Jake Gold, followed by Douglas Conant. It was a massive day, two juggernaut interviews. And that morning, like 8 o'clock in the morning, I get a text, like literally had no time to actually deal with the text. But basically, the text just said, we're running into challenges. I'm not sure that your services can be continued. So this was like one of my bigger clients. And I was just like, shit. Like, we're heading into Christmas season. I got two big interviews, and this is the news that I'm dealing with this morning.
Mhm.
And it was crazy because you remember that. I was just like, oh,
Mhm.
I just showed you the phone, went downstairs to my interviews.
Mhm. Mhm.
And by the time I came back up after, I think it was my first interview, I had another email from a proposal that I had sent out that I was waiting to hear back from that was just like,
Mhm.
this is awesome. We'd like to move forward. And
Mhm.
so, and that same thing had
Mhm.
happened at our old house right before we moved. It was a similar situation. Like, I knew we were buying a house, and
Mhm.
suddenly, a longtime client was just like, hey, like, we're changing things at the business. This isn't going to work anymore. We're going to
Mhm.
have to cut this tie. And same thing, like not a
Mhm.
few days later, here you go. Here's the next opportunity.
Mhm.
And so I think I don't think, I know there's higher powers out there. I mean, it doesn't matter whether you believe in the
Mhm.
universe or God or
Mhm.
whatever. Take your pick in what you believe in. But there is something going on out there that's working in your favor. I think that's important for everybody to hear. It's Christmas time. There is a bigger world happening to make your life better.
Yeah. Yeah. Something is always asking to be born, like to be birthed. And I remember you standing metaphorically and literally in a threshold. You were standing in the doorway, which is the doorway that takes you down to the basement. It's that threshold in our family between dad's upstairs and dad's downstairs.
Yeah,
Dad's
yeah.
working and dad knows it too. It's like daddy goes downstairs and is like, bye bye, daddy. Like daddy's working. And
Yeah.
being upstairs, with our family on the main floor in our family room in our kitchen, you were standing in the literal threshold receiving this message. And, I guess what you could maybe one of the things that you could take from that as well is like that timeline seems to have condensed between the thing that was falling away and making space and the
Yeah.
the next thing that was arriving because it was literally within moments, essentially,
It
like,
was
in the
literally
grand scheme of
moments.
things,
Yeah. Yeah.
moments.
Yeah, I
And
literally said there couldn't have been a better day. Like, there just couldn't have been a better moment, day for that message to come in. And
yeah,
for that next message to come in and say, you know what? No, that's fine. We got you. You're
right,
okay.
right, right,
Right?
and well, it's fascinating too because we tend to I think we know, there's a knowing somewhere in our bodies when things start to turn. Like
Yeah.
you sense that something's changed in the dynamic with that client. You don't know how long it's going to be. You don't know how long it's going to take. But I think, we've got to give ourselves more credit because
Yeah.
our intuition is an incredibly powerful tool. I think it's far more accurate than we give it credit for. And so I think there had been a kind of knowing and a sensing that things were going to turn. There was going to be an opening was going to come available. You don't know when
Yeah.
it's going to happen.
Yeah.
But that moment, I think, when things start to shift. And so I do think that's part of being a very adaptive and intuitive entrepreneur is being attuned and aware to when those shifts begin to happen. And this
Yeah.
is when we do some of our cultivating work. We start planting seeds. We start having more conversations whether you're fully conscious and aware of it or not, I really believe that is what you started to do. And then next thing you know, when one went out, one was right there ready to fill that space. And it doesn't happen by accident, right?
Yeah, yeah. Like, I think what you're getting at here is trust your gut. You know what's going on. You know when it doesn't feel right, and you know when it feels exceptional. When it's not feeling right, it's not just because you're probably not wrong. Maybe it's the better
Right.
way of putting it. You're
Yeah.
probably not wrong.
Yeah.
Trust yourself, trust your gut. The other thing that I have to maybe say is, we're talking about one instance. But since then, babe, it's just been like the floodgates open. It's been
Mm-hmm.
like opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't just the one thing, guys. It's just been, it's been a ton of opportunities since that moment. And I think you just have to be willing to say, I'm ready, I'm open, let's go.
Yeah. And frankly, not a moment too soon, because I think this whole past year, as someone who's had the benefit of observing you up close on a daily basis, which it is one of the greatest, it's one of the things I'm the most thankful for, is that I had the benefit of being with you day in and day out while you're on this journey, that you are home, that you're working from home. It's still when I say it, it's met with some disbelief from me that you've been able to do and accomplish everything you've been able to do while being what feels like right here beside me, with our kids. Like, just to, for a moment, to just acknowledge the incredible beauty of that. But having, witnessed you on a daily basis and kind of see this happening, I really think that this past year has been about building that capacity and actually being able. I think you stretched yourself this whole past year, day in and day out, stretched what you could get done in a day, what you could get done in an hour, a literal
Yeah.
hour, what you could get done in 10 minutes. Time literally seems to change around us as we are able to take on more and accomplish more in a way that our capacity builds. And then it's like, just at the moment when you've got the skills and the capacity needed, it's like, I think now the opportunities are there, and they're there in a way that's going to help you achieve that next level. And,
Yeah.
maybe it's going to look like bringing in help, and it's going to look like expanding, the skill sets and the people ultimately that are doing this work with you in the world. But yeah, I mean, there is absolutely an intelligence to the way this stuff
100%.
takes shape.
Yeah. Like I I like to think I'm smart. I like to see that, or think that I can ultimately make my future the way I want it to be. And I think to an
Mhm.
extent we do, but I think that you have to leave room for the unexpected, because the unexpected will blow you away.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. For sure. I love it. I think mystery has become one of my favorite words, and like adventure, even when we're just packing up the kids to head out somewhere, it's like we're going to go have an adventure. It's probably one of the best frames we've got for what we're experiencing in our life right now on a day-to-day basis. Is It's unpredictable, it's full, it's chaotic at times, but what an incredible adventure that I get to be on with you.
Yes. And likewise. Speaking of adventure, hi, Manon.
Hi, Manon. Oh, Manon's asking about the giant box outside. He might be
Well,
a little disappointed by, but I'm not. It's actually a Christmas present. It's a Christmas present.
Shucks.
Yeah, it's the slow initiation of us back into the Mac ecosystem.
That's
My
right.
iMac.
Step one, starting with Shelby. Yeah, it's 2025 has been an absolutely incredible year. I think I just want to stop and thank all of our listeners for sticking with us.
Mhm.
It 300 episodes is a slog. I
Yeah.
just want to maybe make everybody aware of that it's a lot of work to get there.
Yeah.
But the fact that you guys have been with us on this journey, we're going on our third year of the BDP. We friggin' won a Signal Award. Amazing. It's the coolest award I've ever won.
Mhm.
Just put it that
Very
way.
cool.
Sweet bronze statue with headphones. It's amazing. I think we're just getting going. I
Yeah.
think 300 is the start of the next big phase. I really believe it. I think it took this long to get here. I think it took 300 episodes to just get to a point where we can start to go up. But I think
Mhm.
2026 is our year.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. It's the Chinese year of the dragon. I think it already seems to be giving those like sort of dragon vibes. And I don't just mean in our family or our community. I mean kind of globally. I think we're all feeling that new moment, whatever that means. And so, yeah. Yeah, thank you so much to, your community and your listeners for the way that they've showed up for you and supported you. I'm thankful all the time for the human beings that have come into your life and that have, been huge champions for, your work and just your personal, professional development. I think it's been a real honor just to witness it and be a part of it in some small way along the way. And just like doing these episodes, it really is an honor to sit here on the 300th episode with this community and with you. And yeah, just very thankful.
It's just so crazy, hey?
Yeah.
300 episodes, babe.
Mm-hmm.
I still remember for our lovely listeners out there who probably had a very similar experience, asking Alexa to play my show for the very first time and just being blown away that it actually played something that I made. Yeah, it's so cool. It's so cool to be right here at 300 episodes. I remember listening to the Box of Oddities when they hit their 100th episode and just being blown away that they could do 100. I think they're closing in on 1,000, if not past it. And I'm closing in here now on 300 or I'm on 300, I guess I should say. And it's just like, it's pretty amazing. And I think maybe the more amazing thing is how fast it's all happened. Like time, we talked about this. Time is flying.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not nearly, smart or academic enough to actually get into it. But I had come across a theory that kind of explained that it had to do with the sheer number of events happening. Was like, if you imagine that something that happened is a tick, it's a tick on the arm of the clock. It goes tick, 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 tick. And that actually, as you're doing more and being more and having more, your ticker is genuinely, in a physical way, like as in physics, moving faster. Your clock is literally moving faster because there is so much moving your ticker forward. And that, I don't know, that moved something in me. It felt incredibly true when I kind of, sat with it and understood it. I was kind of blown away by actually how true that felt. And it got me just sort of imagining that time itself was going to be changing for the entire planet, because I think everyone's doing more. And
everyone's doing more.
I made this
100%.
joke the other day that like ChatGPT is the ultimate yes man. So
it is.
You could say to ChatGPT like, hey chat, should I like learn how to build bridges and just like start a business? And it would be like, yes, Shelby, that is exactly right. You should go do that. And that's why I literally think we are all doing more. We have cheerleaders in our pocket telling us we should.
Yeah, we're in for an incredibly productive century, I think.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, that I think takes us to the end of 300, babe. Let me just end this by saying thank you. None of this would be possible, and listeners out there, none of this would have been possible without her championing the family around here, looking after our amazing boys, helping make the time for me to be able to live this entrepreneurial life and build this show and build my business. Shelby, you are the backbone of everything. And so thank you for all you've done. And I love you.
I love you. Thank you. It's an honor.
Until next time, this has been Milestone episode 300 of the Business Development Podcast.
And we'll catch you on the flip side.
This has been the Business Development Podcast with Kelly Kennedy. Kelly has 15 years in sales and business development experience within the Alberta oil and gas industry and founded his own business development firm in 2020. His passion and his specialization is in customer relationship generation and business development. The show is brought to you by Capital Business Development, your business development specialists. For more, we invite you to the website at www.capitalbd.ca. See you next time on the Business Development Podcast.